Okay guys, so before we get started, we want to cover a couple of things, especially some safety tips to ensure our safety while we're working. We want to make sure you have some type of work gloves. Now, this East Wing brand is a brand that was introduced to me by one of the UAG members, Mark Thomas the Builder, I believe. And you can find him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'll leave a link to all of his stuff in the descriptions below. And he turned me on to this brand. I saw him doing a video on it, actually on the 3 different kinds that they have. And they have the tougher, and toughest models. This is in the middle. So each one has different features. This one he really liked the best because it gave him some good dexterity. The leather palms, real soft leather. I forget what type of leather he said it was. And then it has the mesh sides and top, so your hand can breathe, and a little bit of Velcro strap at the top. So I really liked the product that he was showing, so I'll leave a link in the description below for that as too, and you'll get to see a more detailed video on the different ones, and you might be able to find one that you want, and he'll have a link to that too, to his Amazon store, and you can select which one you want. This is the middle one that I got, the high dexterity, so we're going to be using these today. The other thing you're going to want is a face shield. Anytime you're dealing with some heavy brush, whether it's using a strong string trimmer, or in this case a string trimmer with a brush cutter like this guy right here, you're going to have all kinds of things that may be flying around, and you definitely don't want stuff hitting you in the face. Safety glasses is a must, but we want to take it a step further and use this face shield. So we're going to dust it off, and we're going to be sure to use that. We got some fuel right over here. Now this machine here is the new Echo SRM 3020. It has a lot of power in it. It's over 1 horsepower, maybe 1.5 or 1.8, I can't remember. I'll leave a link in the description below that shows you a little bit more about it. And the brush cutter attachment that we used is a kit that we installed. I'll leave a link to that also in the description of us installing that. And also a friend of mine, Brad Bear, who happens to run the YouTube channel Copper Creek Cuts. He has an excellent video on installing this, and a great comparison video between this and the Steel FS111, I believe was the model. So I'll leave a link to that below, and you can check out those videos. And other than that, I think we're ready. So we're going to go ahead and put this stuff on, and we're going to start cutting some brush. I tell you what, that's a lot of power, and definitely a lot of fun to use. It's just an 8-inch blade. You know, the stuff isn't so thick, maybe real small up to maybe an inch and a quarter or so, other than that bigger one you saw, which is probably a little too big for this guy. But I just wanted to see if I could do it, if I could push it through past its boundaries, its limitations of performance. And I'd say that's probably the thickest you'd want to do. And I notice you have to be careful on that. Now, the thing is, when you're cutting with these guys, because they're spinning and you're using the blade to cut, you want to be careful, and you want to make sure, since the blade is turning counterclockwise, you want to approach what you want to cut on the left side of this blade. So as this guy is turning, and let's just say that's a sapling right there, you want to come from right to left to cut, okay? You don't want to go the other way, because it's going to kick this away from you, and you want to cut into the object, moving from right going to left. So starting on your right side, 3 o'clock, and you're moving towards straight in line to that 9 o'clock position. That's how you want to cut, okay? So this is pretty awesome, a lot of power. And we're gonna go ahead and clean up some of this brush, put it on the burn pile. These gloves are okay. They're a little thick for what I like. I will probably use them for, well, probably nothing else. They're just a little too thick for what I like. They are the right size. I think if I got a bigger size, it'd be too cumbersome and too loose. I'm going to leave a link in the description below of a pair of gloves that I like, a brand that I like, that are thinner, about half the thickness of that, and that still does a good job. And those were only like 14, 15 bucks, so that's still a good amount for a good pair that's got some good leather on it. But you might like them. I just don't. So I like a thinner pair. I want to be able to move my fingers a lot easier. So okay, we're gonna get this pile cleaned up and see if we can find a treat. Well, we're pretty much done with this guy. As you can see, the 3020 with the brush cutter did quite a bit of work. So we're pretty excited about this. With that brush cutter, that 8-inch blade definitely wreaked havoc on all this brush. If you guys live out in the country and you're finding an easier solution to cut down brush, or you want another alternative, if you're out in the work area, in the field, wherever you might be, you can get this one. But you can also purchase the 10-inch blade. And on the SRM 3020, it's plenty of power, and that's what you want when you're pushing these kind of guys. You don't want something that's real weak. So for my preference, a minimum is the SRM 2620, and then on up from there is even better. So I hope you guys liked the video. Definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. We're posting videos all the time about all kinds of cool stuff on how to do different tasks, different types of equipment reviews, putting them to the test, putting them through the rotation in our industry. So I'm Kevin with Texas Better Lawn Service. See you guys next time.